Be the hero of your own movie. If your life was a movie and it started now, forget about whatever financial disasters you've had, personal failures, relationship failures. What would the hero of your life's movie do right now? Do that. Do those things. We define ourselves far too often by our past failures. We look at our past and we say, well, that's me. That's not you. You are this person right now. You're the person who's learned from those failures, and you can choose to be the hero of your own movie right now. Write down your goals. Write down things you want to improve. Write down things you won't tolerate from yourself. Write down things that you've done in the past that you never want to see yourself do again. And go forth from here as the hero of your own movie. Build momentum. Build confidence and momentum with each good decision that you make from here on out. You can do it. Anyone can do it. We live in unique times. We live in one of the rarest times in human history where you can choose almost all the input that comes your way. Whether it's the movies that you watch, the books you read, the podcasts you listen to, you can choose to be inspired. Do that. Do that and be the hero of your own movie.
Welcome back to the Final Shot Podcast. Guys, on the show today, I wanted to ring in the new year with this guy because he had an excellent 2021, great showing. We've tried to put this show together 3 times. He's fucked me around 3. I'm just kidding. Guys, this is the guy I wanted to do the first show of the year with. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Josh the Boss Wagner. How's it going, brother?
How are you, man? Thanks for having me back.
No problem. I always love talking to you, dude.
We finally got it going. There.
We did try to do this show actually 3 times. Josh had some a busy life going on. I did hear that you got a girlfriend, maybe did some moving, some other shit going on, New Year's, Christmas. It's hard to put stuff together that time of the year. I usually just take it off, but this is the first show I wanted to do this year because you got to fight.
Yeah, February 26th. It's still on right now. There's new restrictions here in Ontario that I'm not sure what's going to happen, but we're 8 weeks out, so we still do have a little bit of time. So I'm staying optimistic, training as if it's a go, and yeah, we're in the first week of camp, and it's going well, man.
It's going great for you right now, eh?
Oh yeah. I'm in my car now. I'm just parked outside of the gym. So I'll do my cardio here. I live in Orangeville. I train down in Toronto. I changed gyms. I was training with DeWitt Fraser in Mississauga, and I moved to Ryan Grant at Rival Boxing in Toronto. So it's about an hour away from where I live. So I commute. I go there 5 days a week. The restrictions started yesterday, so me and Coach, we're still going to get the work in. Obviously the gyms aren't open, so we'll have to figure out a different way of doing things. But yeah, man, things are going well.
So what brought on the change? You were doing fantastic. You're 9-0 right now, undefeated. You've had a couple real good fights right in a row. The only thing that's been lacking so far is maybe a little bit of finishing.
100%. So my first 6 fights, I had 5 knockouts.
Yeah.
And as a fighter, we all want knockouts, right? So my last 3 fights, the first 2 fights, I fought 2 undefeated guys in their hometown. They were very, very skilled boxers. They had amateur backgrounds. One was 7-0, one was 8-0. So those guys, they were 6-rounders. It went the distance, whatever. I was super happy with my performance.
Yeah.
My last fight, I fought a guy 13-6 from Mexico. Super tough guy. Fought exactly how I thought he was going to fight. Came forward, classic Mexican style. I dropped him in the first round with a left hook. There was like 20 seconds left in the round. Tough guy. I need to start sitting down on my punches. Like, my volume's there, and the technique and the timing is there. From my training, but I do need to start just from watching my tape. Like, I'm happy with my performances. I'm boxing very well, and I'm boxing smart and calculated, and I'm not taking many shots, which it's what I want to, you know what I mean? I want to be a skilled boxer that doesn't get hit.
Yep.
But when it comes down to it, yeah, like that last guy, I should have had out no later than 4 rounds. Like he was tough, but I wasn't uh, I wasn't sitting down on my shots like I should have been, and that's what I need to start working on for sure.
It's really the only thing I've ever noticed in the last three fights is just some of the shots that I think that you can put guys out with. You're just not turning it over enough, or it's one of those you hit him and it's a good shot, but then you kind of back out and come back in again.
Yeah, 100%. You're not wrong. So yeah, we've been going over tape, and this next camp we're gonna even I don't do much like strength training,
Mhm.
so I might start incorporating a bit more like all my workouts are mostly like high volume cardio. So I think I may start doing some weights and more leg training. I got little chicken legs,
Yeah.
but you got to realize I'm 5'11" and I'm fighting at 147. So like
Yeah.
I do have the length and the reach. But yeah, I do need to start cracking guys because I want to start finishing guys too.
You know what I always found brought up power was resistance bands.
Yeah, yeah. I've used those. I don't use them as often as I should, but those they definitely do work.
Especially with anything that involves like twisting or pushing and pulling and stuff like that. Resistance bands are fantastic, and they're not hard on your joints either. Which throwing around like heavy weights obviously going to be hard on your ligaments and your joints and whatnot.
Yeah, hundred
But
percent.
I always hate telling guys that when I see things, especially guys I like, or I see things that I could probably point out, and I just did it to you, but I don't like doing it because you're a
Oh,
fantastic
dude.
fighter, man.
Yeah, man, I don't. I take criticism very well. Like I know my skills, I know my talent, and like when it comes down to it, like I'm not an asshole. Like I can take advice from a guy who, like you do have experience in fighting. So even if you didn't, I will listen to you. You know what I mean? I'm not, and even if you were wrong, I would still take it in and just, it is what it is. Like it is what it is. You know.
Well,
I'd rather hear what people truly feel. You know what I mean?
throughout the 20 years that I spent in combat sports, I always found that you could learn something from everybody. It doesn't matter if it's the person's first day or their 15,000th day. Everybody has something to
Yeah.
teach you.
100%, man. 100%.
So, did we talk about why you switched? I can't remember. Why'd you switch gyms? We talk about that?
So yeah, so I moved back to Ontario, started the boxing thing up again, training with DeWitt Fraser. I trained with him the uh, the ending of my amateur career, the last like 10, 12 fights. I fought with him as an amateur before I moved out west. So when I came back, I just gravitated towards him. Um, and the first two fights we won. I was, you know what I mean? Like his coaching style is he gets you in phenomenal shape. The gym environment is great. He's you know what you're getting every day. It's consistent. Um, there's no bullshit, and it was great. And there's still family to me. They'll always be family. The DeWitt Boxing Studio will always be family to me. But so what happened was coach went to like DeWitt Fraser went to Worlds with his son
Mm-hmm.
in Serbia. So he was gone for like 3 weeks, and I just started camp for the last fight against a guy that was from Philly. He was 7-0. It was my first American fight. It was a big deal for me, right? And so whatever. The first 3 weeks, um, he was there, and then the last 3 weeks he wasn't there. So I went to other gyms to find sparring and whatnot, and the gym I found, I ended up staying there for the last 3 weeks of my camp, and just great crew. The energy was amazing. I felt like not that I was lacking it, but I felt like so I originally started a gym called Big Time when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I just had that feeling back like when I was a kid and I was training for fights and like so it was nice. And so what happened was coach wasn't able to make it to the in the corner, so it was my brother and my gym partner Jake.
Yeah.
And whatever, it was what it was. We had to do what we had to do. We went and got the win. Um, but like I said, I just having that last 3 weeks there, I got another. I don't know. I had that mojo, that fire in me again, and it kind of lit something in me, and I just felt it was the right move at that time. And so far, it's awesome, man. His coaching style is a little bit different. RG, he's more of a technical guy. Like getting in shape is he he does more drills and technique stuff. So, and that's no problem to me. I run every day. My cardio is amazing, and that's shown in my last fights. Like they've gone all rounds, and at the end of the fight, you can clearly tell I'm ready to keep going.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're gonna see some good things coming up these next fights.
So where will people be able to watch this fight? Can we watch it?
So the last fight was on Punch and Grace.
Yep.
I'm assuming that this I don't know for sure. Don't mark my words, but I'm pretty sure that the United shows will be on Punch and Grace from now on.
That's an amazing streaming service too because it's cheap as shit.
Well, and you know what, dude? For what it is, the quality's good, and
Yeah.
I both Rafi and my last fight were on Punch and Grace, and yeah, going back and watching, they have the replays and the commentating's very well. The production is done well, yeah.
I've worked with Punching Grace before, doing commentary work at KO Boxing, and yeah, they run an excellent show.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So good. I'm glad we'll be able to watch that, guys. If you don't know what Punching Grace is or you don't have it, go subscribe. It's $11 a month. They bill you quarterly, so every 3 months they send you a bill for $33. Nobody notices $33 going out of the fucking bank account. Trust me.
Well, and it's not just my fights you're getting. You're getting like Chris
Everything.
Mabili just fought. You're getting
Yeah.
him. You're getting all the Isle of Tiger fights. That Makhmadov guy, the big heavyweight. There's some exciting fights on there for sure.
Super exciting fights that go on there. So go subscribe, check them out, and obviously because Josh is going to be fighting there, don't fuck around. Get punchinggrace.com. What else are we going to talk about today, Josh? You switched gyms. You got a fight coming up. Who were you fighting?
So we're fighting a guy. His name is David Martinez Chavez. He's 15 wins, 5 losses, never been stopped. I think it's going to be a little bit of a tougher challenge than my last fight. The last guy was not that he came to fight and he was in shape and he was ready to go, but he was a little bit older. I think he was like 37 or 38.
Yep.
And I think that played a factor in the fight. So this next guy, he's my age. He's 28, 29. Honestly, I don't go look on his social media. I don't do that stuff. Like I'll look at his fights on YouTube. But my brother's saying, oh, he's posting all over social media saying he's training. It's a fight of his life, and so he's gonna show up to fight. But like I said, and you said before, like I want to start knocking guys out. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring the pain to this guy.
So let's talk about diet a little bit because the last time I talked to you, you looked like death warmed over. Your face, it looked like you had just cut weight. You were in super shape.
Oh yeah. I think I was probably about 6, 7 pounds off weight, so I was right on weight.
Okay.
Uh, I'm just starting camp now, so I'm fighting at 154. I'm about 168 right now. I'm about 15 pounds off.
That's not bad.
No, no, no. My last fight was the last camp. I ate a little bit too much, but we didn't get it. We didn't go too overboard this time. We kept it, even with Christmas and stuff. I put on 15 pounds, but no more than that.
Well, you look like a regular human being to me right now. You look healthy.
Well, I got my beard too. I don't usually grow my beard out this thick, but it's pretty. It hasn't been this long in a while, so my face I look normal. I don't look all sunken in.
No, I like this guy. He looks like a regular nice dude. That other guy looked like he was ready to kill somebody.
Well, man, you should. When I made 147, I hadn't made 147 in a long time, and I was in good spirits. So, like, I for what it was, like, yeah, you get a little bit cranky and whatnot,
Yeah.
but
Wasn't bad?
no,
No.
no. But I couldn't do that the same day. Like my last fight was in Ontario, and it's the only commission in the world, which doesn't make sense to me. But so I told my promoter, I'm like, honestly, like I made 147 the day before, but I needed that day to rehydrate. Like I wouldn't have been able to do that the same. It would have affected me in the fight. So we fought at 154. same day.
What do you
That
prefer,
was
47 or 54?
well. Is it same day or day before? Day before, no problem. 147.
Okay.
Just
Well,
because
I'm not.
I'll hydrate. I'll hydrate back to like 158. I usually put on 10 or 11 pounds, but I feel great. Like I feel at that weight.
I can't ask you that question going off of the one commission. That's stupid because when you go anywhere else on the planet, you're going to be fighting at 147. I'm guessing.
Well, and that's the thing. So like when we campaign for a belt, we're gonna be fighting for welterweight,
Yeah.
147. If it's in Ontario, I guess I'm assuming if we were fighting for a title, they may have a rule where they'll do the day before, but then you can only put on so much in the contract. So like
Yeah.
if the fight's at 147, you make weight the day before, but if the next day you can't be any more than 154, or you can't put on 20 pounds. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, they made an exception for the Adonis Stevenson fight that happened in Toronto. That
Yeah.
specific fight.
Yeah, there has been exceptions, so that's what I mean. Like, I think it has to be for a title, and there has to be certain commission, like the WBC or the WBA or whatever NABA title or whatever. They have to be involved with it, you know.
So, what is going to be the plan then for 2022 after this fight? Let's say you win. You're 10-0. You're right in that area for maybe a Canadian title or an NABA, maybe an international title or something like that. Is that in the works?
Yeah. So our plan is, like I said, it all depends on these restrictions and what's going to happen. But in a perfect world where all fights are going and everything's a go, um, our plan is for 4 or 5 fights this year. So 10, 11, 14, 15 and 0 by the end of the year. We want to conquer this next fight, go 10 and 0, and then there's another show in May, which that's where we're going to be fighting. We're going to try and go for a title that show. So I'll be 10 and 0, and whether it be a Canadian title or an NABA or an NABA NABF. We're gonna try and get. It's in the works. We're going for a title this year. So
I really like to see the Canadian guys fight for the Canadian belts. And I get it. Every boxing fan that's going to be listening to this that's from anywhere else other than Canada, and most of the Canadian guys are going to say they don't mean shit. They mean something to me.
yeah, I hear you. They do in the rankings. They don't mean anything, but it is it is neat to say you do have the Canadian title. It's a title. And it's our home country, so it's where we're from. So like there is, if you're from here, it does mean a little bit more. But like in the world rankings, like I'd rather an NABA or an NABF because that puts you top 30 in that specific like WBA or like IBF. So obviously those titles are more ideal, and that's where you start getting paid more.
Yeah.
But if the opportunity arises and I can fight for a Canadian title, yeah, why not?
That'd be fun, right? Like when it comes down to tough guy stuff, you got to be the toughest guy in your town, the toughest guy in your province, the toughest guy in your country.
So yeah, like when I was amateur, when I won my first Canadian title, I was 17.
Yeah.
And I remember, so you win provincials, and you start, I'm still in high school at this time, so all your friends, like, you're like, oh, I'm number one in Ontario. I'm going to go to nationals in a couple months. I'm number one representing Ontario. So then they're like, oh shit, like this is when it all started. Then they actually start realizing, oh, Wagner the boxer, like it's a small town, right? So everyone's like, oh, you're known as the boxer. Me and my brother, we've been known as the boxers in our town our whole life, right?
Yeah.
So, but this is when they started realizing you're good. Like you're not just saying that you go to the gym and box. You actually can fight. And then when I went to nationals and and then you're like, okay, going to the finals tomorrow, like my fourth fight of the weekend. Like, and then people are on board when you're like, I won, number one in Canada.
Yeah, now you're the toughest guy in the country, man.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet, man. It's pretty sweet.
It's a lot of fun. Tell me about your brother. Your brother's an interesting cat to me because leading up to this podcast, we had to cancel a couple times, and I was like, fuck, man, don't make me message your manager. So I just messaged your brother, and he gave you shit. But I get a kick out of him. He's a funny guy, huh?
Yeah, my brother is hilarious, man. He's high energy. He's my number one. He's my manager. He's my best friend. He's my number one guy. Uh, yeah, he's the reason why I am where I am today in my boxing, and yeah, he's always part of my team, number one, all the way.
Any interaction I've ever had with him, he's one of those guys I felt like I could sit down and have a conversation with for like 5 hours.
Yeah, he's interesting, man, and like his story too. Like his story is a book, man. Like that guy, just not even outside of his fighting career, just his fighting career alone. If you look at that, that guy was a badass, man. He only fought undefeated guys. He like yeah, sure he got stopped sometimes, sure, but he never shied away from any fight. Honestly, I think if my brother had the correct management and a better coach at the time,
Yeah.
I honestly think like there was fights where he fought Sam Vargas, and look what Vargas went on to do. Like there's
Really?
Claggett. He fought Claggett. He fought Yves Ulysse Jr.
Holy shit.
You know what I mean? The list goes on. Like so, I think he fought them at the wrong times. Like I think he could have beaten these guys. You know what I mean? My brother was a badass in the gym when he fought. Anyone knew, and you didn't want to spar my brother. My brother was the worst guy to spar. Always went hard. Loved to brawl. The thing with him is where I think it affected his career the most is like when the lights came on and the crowd started yelling and all his fans are there, the whole town's there watching you. I think that's when it got to him a little bit.
Yeah.
So I think if he would have worked on that aspect of his career, I think it maybe would have helped a bit. But yeah, man, and he was a badass. He fought anyone, anytime, and all his wins were undefeated guys. Yeah, I think he was 7-5 or 7-4 when he retired. So he had a winning record, and all his losses were badasses.
Well, I'm gonna make an effort and try to get him on this damn show because I want to talk to him anyways. He seems like a fun guy.
You should do that. It'll be a good show. You definitely should do that.
He's gonna watch this, so.
And he's a family man. He's a car salesman. He's a great overall. He's just a really, really good guy.
I'm gonna bring him on. I think he'll do it. Hopefully.
100%. Are you kidding me? He'll be so happy.
Yeah.
He would love to.
I'll bring him on 100%. I'll do it.
Because he just loves talking boxing. He doesn't fight anymore. He's a family man. So he's kind of living through me with the boxing.
Yeah.
So if any time it comes to the boxing, he is about it.
Done. He's coming on. I'll make it happen. So we've entered a new year. What was your favorite fight to watch from 2021?
Wilder Fury 3.
Okay. That was a fun one.
That not the most boxing technique.
Yeah.
But that had like 6 knockdowns. Actually, there was a heavyweight fight last week on PBC. There was 5 heavyweight fights. That Sanchez guy fought.
Yeah.
Ortiz fought in the main event.
Yeah.
At the beginning, the prelims.
Was that
very
Rice?
First fight. No, he was on that one too. But the very first one that started it off, it was a guy that was 8-0 from Russia or some shit against a guy like 23-2. So a tough fight for a guy 8-0, right?
Yeah.
But he should have won, right? So the first round, 4 knockdowns, 2 each. Okay. Second round, another 3 knockdowns. Early stoppage. Like the guy, sure he was rocked, but like he nodded yes, like I want to fight. He was a little bit dazed, but there was 6 knockdowns. The ref really should let it go, and the 8-0 guy won, but he got dropped. Like it was nuts.
Wow.
Those fights are the best. Those fights are the best to watch.
Yeah, those are fun. They're
best.
just brawls.
Oh yeah. Fan favorites. Not the most like skill wise. My favorite fight of the year. Honestly, there were some good ones, man. I like Haney had a good year, man. Haney, his boxing skill is sick. Like, and he's just young. He's still growing. He's not even a man yet. He's like 23 or something. But people don't like him. But I like Haney.
I like Haney too. The other guy I like is that Shakur Stevenson. I don't like his face because he still looks like he's 12, but he's fantastic.
Yeah, that guy. That's what I was gonna say next. He's top of my list too.
He's good.
Obviously, Terrence Crawford.
Yeah.
I want to see honestly, Ugos versus Spence. People are counting Ugos out. Watch, mark my words. I think Ugos is gonna win.
My favorite fight from 2021, I had a vested interest, obviously, because I'm buddies with one of them, was Ryan Rozicki versus Oscar Rivas.
Oh, okay. On a personal level,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I totally forgot about that. That fight was that was nuts. That was nuts. That's all I can say about that fight. That was sick.
I can't even say
Congrats,
that
like
that on a personal
not
level. It was great.
honest, honestly, like congrats to Rivas.
Yeah.
He got the win, but man, anyone watching that gained a fan in Rizicki. Like,
Oh,
how can you not?
100%. He was
I,
all.
I already knew, like I know him, so like
Yeah.
I already knew that he had that in him.
Yeah.
So it was no surprise. It wasn't like a shock to me that that happened, but he showed anyone who didn't know now knows that that guy, he is a scary motherfucker.
Oh, cruiserweights are in trouble with him. Like, big time trouble.
Yeah.
I don't know one that can beat him.
Well, the only time he gets into trouble, but I've said this before. I said it about Rivas. I said it about a guy that he fought before that. I'm like, oh, the guy can box. Like he might get a little bit of trouble here with a boxer mover.
Yep.
But he proves me wrong, man. His power and his grit alone, his will to not back down, that alone in professional boxing, and his power in both hands can
Yeah.
can get you there.
So, one thing that I did learn from that fight is Oscar Rivas has a fantastic jab, and it might be the hardest jab on the planet.
That guy is just a brick house.
Oh, man. Animal.
Brick house. That fight, honestly, if it was a classic 15 rounder, I had Rizicki winning.
Yeah.
That fight was it was a classic, man.
It's an instant Canadian classic. That might go down as the greatest Canadian fight of all time up to this point.
Yeah, I think there's another big fight, Canadian fight. Lemieux got a fight with Benavidez, I think, didn't he?
I think so, yeah. We'll see what happens with that.
That's a big matchup, no?
It's a huge matchup. David Lemieux's a world class guy as it is. I just question. He's been in the game for so long. What's he got left?
Yeah, but my question is like, where's the Simon Keens and the Stan Cermax? They need to start. I want to see because I know Stan on a personal level. I've trained with him.
Yeah.
And I know he was going through some heart issues and whatnot, but I'm not sure if he's got them cleared up. But if he has that, he's underrated. That guy, he has a loss on his record, and whether it be from his training or whatever was going on, but I think Stan Cermax at 100%, he's something to reckon with.
Stan moves really well. He moves like a light guy. He hits hard. I know Stan on a personal level too, and I really like Stan. He's the nicest guy on the planet.
Super nice, yeah.
I don't want to see him get hurt by an ailing condition that could impact his performance.
Well, I talked to him too, like when it was all going, because he was supposed to fight Keane,
Yeah.
and then it happened, and I called him and I'm like, dude, like we're boxers, yeah, but like man, like we have a life, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like if it's going to affect your health, like no,
No,
it's
don't.
not worth it. It's not worth it.
Well, I was really looking forward to Stan Cermak versus Adam Braidwood. That was supposed to be for a Canadian title. That was going to be a fun one, seeing as how I know both guys.
Well, another guy too. There's a guy in Ontario. His name's what's his name? Mladen.
Oh, Mladen Milgis. Yeah, he's a nice. I like him too.
Yeah, he can throw.
He's in Vegas.
Is he? I thought he trains in Toronto.
I'm pretty sure, not unless he came back, but he was in Vegas for a long time training.
Nice.
He is. He's supposed to come on the podcast actually this year when he's going to fight. So look forward for that announcement coming on this fucking show.
I think he was going. Yeah, I don't know 100%. I don't know his business, but I think he was dealing with some management stuff, but I think he wants to start getting some fights this year, and he should. I think he has a Canadian title, doesn't he?
I think he had to vacate that because it's been a couple of years.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he beat Carmen for that, didn't he?
Yeah, he knocked Carmen out in Carmen's comeback fight off of Big Brother
Yeah,
when he
yeah.
looked like shit. He got fucking huge on that show. Dylan and I are good buddies, so he'll get a kick out of this.
Buddy, me and Dylan Carmen are like very, very good friends. Like
Yeah,
we go back to amateur days. That guy is he's like my brother. He's so we can talk shit about him all day.
perfect. Let's talk shit about him because he looked like complete garbage on that fucking show. He got so big. I'm.
I didn't watch the show to be honest,
Oh my
but
god.
I heard yeah, he's funny man. He's a character. Like he's designed. He was on Dragon's Den.
Yeah,
That guy is made for TV, and even his fighting style. If you watch his fights, that guy is he's exciting, man. He's hilarious.
I get along with him so well because we just fuck with each other all the time. But congratulations to him and his fiance on getting engaged and on the birth of their brand new baby.
The one thing okay, I haven't even said this to him ever before, but one thing I've noticed too, ever since he had a kid, I don't see any stories of his little rat thing, his little pet,
Yeah, that
his little
Kinkajou, fuck that thing.
yeah, Kikachu, yeah, Kikachu. Have you seen? I haven't seen one video of it since he had a kid. Have you?
No, I
So
bet you that thing got
I
the
wanna know
boot.
where it is.
It got the boot. That got put out in the cold, man. Guaranteed. That thing's fucking terrifying. So I had him on the podcast and he had all these scratches on his arm. Like, what the fuck are you doing, man? He goes, oh, it's from this little fucking rat. I'm like, what
Yeah,
is that? That thing's from a third world country. Send it back.
yeah. So with the we have restrictions here. What's going on out there for boxing in amateur shows? Is there
Nothing. We've got nothing.
what about just normal life? What's happening with like? Do you guys have lockdown or no?
So in Saskatchewan, it's a little different than Ontario. I know Quebec's got got the curfew right now. I think if you don't have work, you have to be in by 6 p.m. If you have work, you can be in by 10 p.m. Ontario, as you keep coming east, it keeps getting a little bit better, but I think Saskatchewan is a little lower than every other province because one, our population is less, and we don't have as much COVID. Like you guys had like 10,000 cases over Christmas. I think we had 1,000.
Oh, okay.
So I was some crazy, insane stuff that I heard this morning on my drive to work on regular radio was so now we're dealing with the Omarion variant or whatever it is, the Omicron, the Decadon or whatever the fuck you want to call it. So it's not as lethal apparently as the other COVID, right? So now they're saying if you test
There's
positive,
there's the Flurona now too. The flu mixed with the Corona.
oh my god, they're breeding. Great.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
so when you get the Omarion variant and you get the symptoms, but let's say you test positive but you don't have symptoms, you don't have to self quarantine. Go do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
You can go to
Makes
school.
sense.
You how does any of this make sense, man?
So schools aren't shut down or nothing. 'Cause we have schools are shut down, gyms are shut down here.
No, we don't have any of that. We can go to school. We can go to the gym. The only thing in the gym, which is dumb, you got to like when you walk in the door, you got to have your mask on. You get to your workout station, your machine, take your mask off, do your set.
Yeah. Well, I'm at the gym now, so like once we're done here, I'm gonna go do a cardio workout. When you walk in, you gotta wear a mask, uh, get changed or whatever. Go to your machine, do whatever you're doing, take it off,
Yeah,
do your thing. When you get off, wipe your machine down, put your mask on, blah 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 blah.
because I'm not a doctor, but it can't be good to be wearing a mask for 8 hours a day.
Well, like honestly, I my job is to train, so I'm not wearing a mask all day. I wear the mask when I have to go into places and whatnot.
Yeah,
Um, but as for the people that like work, let's say whatever at Tim Hortons or where they're wearing it for 8 hours, there's no way. There's no way it's good for you.
no. Like, at my work, I'm supposed to wear it all day. Um, I'll be blatantly honest, I don't. If I
Yeah.
leave my bay,
What do you do for work?
so I build grain augers. So they're 120, 110, 95 feet long. The things you put on the back of tractors to get your grain up into silos.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I do a lot of welding and I work with power tools and that kind of shit.
Nice,
So
nice.
at least I'm not flipping burgers at McDick's. That'd be boring. But my job is fun. But yeah, like they want us to. I have three guys in my bay that I'm around 8 hours a day every day. I know who's sick and who's not in my area. They don't bug us.
Yeah.
So it is
How
what it
how many
is.
how many kids do you have now?
I have two.
How old?
I have an 11-year-old and a 2-year-old
Is he 11-year-old boy or girl?
girl.
Does she like boxing or fighting or no?
She does like boxing. She,
Nice.
I do train her,
That's that's awesome.
and she's a
Yeah.
fucking
So
she's a fucking
my
weapon.
nephew, my brother's son,
Yeah,
his name is Owen,
yeah,
and we have a rule that because he sees my fights on the TV, and we're always talking about boxing and Uncle Josh fights coming up, whatever, right? So they're not like if he wants to get into boxing, obviously we're gonna teach him, but we're not like pushing it on him.
yeah.
If he wants to play hockey or do whatever else he wants to do, he'll do. But I love it because he loves boxing, and every time he sees me, there's a rule: you can only do it to Uncle Josh. If you don't ever punch kids or you don't ever punch anyone else. So every time he sees me, he instantly just runs up to me, and we taught him how to throw straight punches. So just 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, right?
Yeah,
So he'll come up and just throw like 30 straight punches at my stomach, and I'm telling you, if he were to hit a 5-year-old with these punches
yeah,
he would rock them. I guarantee it would rock them. Like I'm like, oh, I gotta flex the abs a bit. You know what I mean?
yeah. That's
Kid,
fun.
he's a Wagner for sure.
And how old is he? Sorry, he's 5,
4.
4. So my son's 2. Um, when he started crawling around and doing stuff, we kind of already knew he was going to be a bit of a wingnut.
Yeah,
So he started walking, and it went from walking to running to jumping off of furniture onto other furniture. And then my boy at USG, Howie, sent him a pair of boxing gloves. He put the boxing gloves on, walked up to my wife, and threw a 4 punch combination on her leg. He's never seen a fight before.
that's amazing.
Like legitimate 1-2, fucking left hook, right hand. I was like, whoa, what was that?
Yeah.
So, and now he'll go grab his boxing gloves and I'll be doing the dishes. He'll run up behind me and unleash 40 punches on my ass or something like that, on the back of my legs, and then run away.
Yeah.
Then he's just starting to talk now, so he'll hit me and he'll run away and he'll go, funny. He thinks it's hilarious.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But
That's awesome.
he was wrestling with my daughter about a month ago, and she came up and he cracked her in the head, and she had to stop for a minute because Dad, he made me see stars. I was like, oh, okay, there's no more hitting.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Yeah, yeah, that's it. Yeah, timeout.
No more hitting. Time out. We can't do that anymore.
Yeah,
Boys are funny, man, because the fighting stuff is bred right into them. It's in their DNA.
100%.
So everybody's born with this fight or flight thing, but I think when you're first born, it's automatic fight in boys. I think the
Well, and
flight.
I had a brother. Do you have siblings or no?
No, I don't.
Yeah, see, so everyone's got a different story and different upbringing,
Yeah.
but like mine, my dad was a guy growing up, like in he grew up in this town too, and he was known like no one messed with John Wagner. That was just
Okay.
he was a big car guy, but he's my dad's like 6 foot two, 240, all muscle, no fat,
It
and
was a
still
big
to this
dude.
day
Yeah.
he's 50 he's 59 years old. He'll do 50 chin ups. He's 230 built. Like my dad, yeah, like my dad will beat me up. I'm being serious. Like my dad's a serious, my
Serious
dad's a
dude.
unit.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a serious unit. But like so growing up, like all his friends, me and my brother, we'd be putting on those big pillow punchers,
Yeah.
and we would just go at it. So like my last fight, they got a box, and afterwards I go and see everyone, and it's just they're like out of any of my friends' sons that were gonna be doing this again in an arena fighting, it was gonna be you guys. You know what I mean? So it's funny how that works.
Yeah, it's always interesting with boys that have brothers because there's obviously an older and a younger one. Usually, the younger one ends up tougher because he's always getting the shit kicked out of him.
Oh, buddy, the stories I could go on about. Oh man, but it honestly it definitely made me tougher. 100%. There's no way it didn't.
So I didn't have siblings, but I grew up in rural Ontario, and I went. Probably you might know Norwood. You know where Norwood, Ontario is, just outside of
Yeah,
Peterborough. That's
yeah.
where I went to school. So when I was 3 years old, my mother passed away from cancer, and my dad raised me. So we moved out to the middle of buttfuck nowhere, and you go to these farmer schools, and these guys just want to fight. That's all it is. You go out for recess, you get into a fist fight.
Yeah.
It's like I had 50 older brothers that would just beat the shit out of me. Like you're in grade five fighting grade sevens and grade eights. Like when you're in grade five, a grade seven or a grade eight guy is huge.
Oh yeah,
Like there's a big difference. You just get the shit kicked out of you. So,
100%.
but those old school, like now we live in the country, and my daughter goes to like the old school farmer school, and she gets on pretty good there. But it's definitely a different kind of life.
Oh yeah, 100%, man.
So, did you? Where did you grow up? Did you grow up out
I
west?
grew up I grew up in Orangeville,
Okay,
so it's about an hour north of Toronto.
okay. I've been to Orangeville a few times.
Yeah, it's a good mix. It's like 30,000 people, so like it's it's good, close enough to the city that you can drive there and be in the city, but enough far enough away where you can kind of get away too.
So I know that in your personal life, you've had a few changes as of late as well. You have yourself a lovely girlfriend.
Yeah, we've been together for almost a year now. Next month it'll be a year,
Yeah,
so that's exciting. We just moved in together this week. Actually, it's the first week of living together, so it's been going really well. And yeah, she's great, man.
yeah,
When we first started dating, it was like I'd been sober for a year, and I had a fight with Rafi in like 2 weeks,
yeah,
and what happened was she posted a picture on Facebook. So we growing up, I'm 3 years older than her, so we were from the same hometown. But I moved away when I was 19,
yeah.
and then I moved back whatever 2 years ago, right? So she posted a picture of her in the mountains, and so that's how we started talking. I'm like, oh, I just moved back from there or whatever. She's like, oh, I'm from Orangeville actually, and then that's how we started chatting. And then so the fighting is she's on board now that she's had two fight experiences, two camps with
Yeah.
me, being in camp and whatnot. At first, she's very smart. Like she has a business degree. She's a very, very smart woman, and so she like analyzes everything, right? So she wants to know, the 10-9 rounds. If someone gets knocked down, she's asking all the questions. She
Okay.
actually wants to figure it out. And the last fight was the first fight. She had to watch with her family because I was fighting in the States,
Yep.
so she obviously wasn't there. The last fight, everyone came and got to experience it, which was it was amazing, man. The fans, the Wagner chants. There was like 3,000 people in the arena. It was nuts, man. It was awesome. But she handles it real well. The weight cut. Obviously, I can be a little bit of an asshole sometimes when I'm in
Yeah.
camp. I have one track mind, tunnel vision. So she's great. We have a little dog named Birdie, and honestly, man, it's a happy fighter is a good fighter, and she definitely adds to it. So
That's good, man.
yeah,
Everybody needs some kind of
yeah,
stability when you go home, especially when shit ain't going right or you need to talk to somebody. At least you got your
yeah.
best friend right there.
I'm blessed, buddy. It's a lonely sport. You have your teammates in the gym and whatnot, but the nights right now, like I'm going to the gym myself.
Yeah.
I have to wake up, go to the gym tomorrow. No one's doing that, and have her kind of pushing me, and it's a blessing, man.
Oh, I've been
Because
with.
I've been in relationships where it's the opposite, and like going to the gym is a headache.
Yeah.
So I'm a 29-year-old man now. I don't have time for that, and so she's a perfect fit for me.
I've been with my wife going on 15 years now, and she's dealt with that bullshit for 15 years.
Yeah, like, and so when I first met her, she had a dog named Birdie. It's my dog now. Like I consider her my dog now, but at first, man, I did not like this dog. Like
No.
I'm a big dog guy. I like big dogs. Okay, like I love dogs, but I'm a big dog guy, right? So at first, it's a baby. It's a year old. So when we met, it was fresh, 8 weeks,
Yeah.
and it was just a puppy, right? So sometimes it's a little bit annoying. You got to deal with the puppiness, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I love Birdie.
That's your best friend now, huh?
Yeah, oh, 100%. Running, man, it'll run. Like, she's like 10 pounds. She'll run 5K. She's a Pomsky, so she's majority Husky
Okay.
and Pomeranian. But like, so we'll attach her by the hip leash and we'll run with her. And dude, I swear, if you picture her running, pulling a sled, that's what it looks like.
Really?
It could be a commercial. Yeah, it could be a commercial. A little mini husky, and she's running, and she's into it, man.
That's
she loves
funny.
it.
I have 3 dogs.
Oh, nice.
So I have a Karelian Bear Dog Border Collie. Then I have a Cane Corso Pit Bull. Those are the 2
See,
big
I
ones.
love King. King, that's amazing. Send me a picture.
I'll send you
That's
pictures of them. And then I have a little dog too. And the little dog is fucking awesome. It's a Frenchton.
What's the little dog?
It's a Frenchton, so it's a French Bulldog Boston Terrier.
Yeah, that's nice.
And
That's cute.
she is nuts. And hates birds. Does not like birds.
Oh, like tries to attack them, or
Like, if there's a bird that flies through the yard, good luck catching that dog.
yeah,
Gone. Wants to kill the bird.
that's hilarious.
Yeah, and then we have 2 cats. And we live in the country,
Yeah,
so...
I'm not a big cat guy, but I think I might. I've been more into the cat. 'Cause my girlfriend wants to get another dog. She's like, oh, Birdie needs a friend or whatever.
Yeah.
And I have this like picture in my head when I get a dog. I need like 2 months. Like I need to train it. And I need to. So with training camps and whatever, it's kind of I'm
Yeah.
not ready to get a dog right now. I keep telling her. So then we were looking at cats, and I'm like, cats just kind of do what they want. They're chill. But I don't know. I'm not a big cat guy because like
Dude.
I've had cats just like I've slept over at buddies' places, when I was younger, and cat would just randomly attack me and things like that. So I'm like, I'm not into cats. You know what I mean?
I respect
Like-
cats. I like cats. They're fucking cool, man. Especially like, so they sit on the back of the couch, right, and there'd be something in the tree, and you hear this weird fucking noise, and their tails going like this. You're like, what in the fuck is that? It's the goddamn cat.
Have you done the laser pointer?
Oh yeah.
Have you done the laser? Yeah.
Yeah. I've done the cucumber thing too. Put the cucumber behind the cat because apparently it freaks them the fuck out. And they,
Does it work?
yeah, it does work.
Every time.
Not every time. Depends.
Oh wait. So it actually jumps in the air like 2 feet in the air?
Dude, like 6 feet in the air. They get freaked the fuck out. I don't know what it is.
That's hilarious.
But-
Probably thinks it's a snake or something.
I respect cats, man, because they're like the ultimate killing machine.
Yeah, they'll like, for birds and like rabbits and shit.
Birds, rabbits, mice, gophers. Like, when I lived in Ontario, I had a tabby cat, and some poor fuck ripped the claws out, declawed the thing. But when we got the cat, we moved out to the country. That cat would bring home rabbits.
Oh yeah.
It was like, what?
Yeah.
Like, it's just fun watching because we live in the country now. We got shit running through our yard all the time. These 2 little bastards get outside, and we come home from work. It's a fucking graveyard. There's dead shit
Farm
everywhere.
cat?
Well, they come in the house. They sleep inside. Then they go outside. They murder stuff, and they leave it in the driveway. And it's just a. They're
Yeah,
sick.
cats are they run the show, man.
So, if you were going to get a cat, I think a Maine Coon would be the cat for you.
I don't know. I have no idea what you're talking about.
So, I'll send you a picture of a Maine Coon. They look like a miniature lion.
Yeah?
They're badass. But they're real chill inside. Like, they just like to hang out. They don't fuck with you
Yeah.
though. Like they won't come try to sit on your lap or anything. They don't want nothing to do with you. You can go over and pet them or whatever, and they're cool. But if you let them outside, it's on.
That's hilarious. That's awesome.
I like cats.
I'll bring up the Brooke. Send me the picture.
I'll send you a
I'm
picture of
like
this cat.
I'm like we're getting this kind of cat.
Yeah, because if you see this cat, you're gonna want it because it looks terrifying.
Yeah.
But hey, dogs are cool too. I was never a small dog person until I had a little pug Boston Terrier, and I love that dog. He was awesome.
Yeah. Pugs are sweet. I like pugs too.
He was awesome. Then
Pugs.
I got this little fucker that's here now. That dog's hilarious. It cracks me up every time I look at it. It's just so stupid looking. But I did see a picture of your dog on Instagram. It's a little kind of like it looks like a little fucking bull or fox almost.
Little fox.
Yeah.
So that's what everyone says. Everyone that sees birdies like thinks it's a fox. So it's half husky, half Pomeranian. Obviously not by natural.
Yeah, that's rape.
There's obviously yeah, like there's no way that that's working out. So
No.
but yeah, she got majority husky in her. She's more husky than Pomeranian, which is nice. She's cool looking, man.
So you want to hear a funny story about dogs?
Let's hear it.
Okay. So my wife's uncle, they had a dog. It was half Chihuahua, half Pit Bull.
Oh wow.
The neighbor had a Chihuahua. The other neighbor on the other side had a male Pit Bull. The Pit Bull got over the fence and raped this poor Chihuahua.
Oh wow.
And like we're not talking about like the dog was a full size Pit Bull dog that came out of this little Chihuahua.
So were the people obviously were they were happy with the situation or?
Well, they were not happy with the situation because that poor dog.
Yeah, no doubt. That's messed up.
But out of this little tiny Chihuahua, little small thing, had two puppies, and they both grew up to be full size friggin' dogs.
That's wild.
And he was telling the story the other day, and I'm like, holy fuck, man, that's dog rape. Like, there's no way that Chihuahua gave it up willingly.
Well, it was maybe unless it was in heat, you could have tried. Who knows?
Who knows? But that, like, I don't even know how it works.
Well, actually, I think it goes in and then they actually go ass to ass. They turn around and they do whatever they got to do.
I've never watched dogs do that. So
The dog mounts and then once it's in, it actually turns around. It's weird. Like, and they're actually ass to ass.
that is weird.
But he's stuck. But he's stuck in her. Yeah.
Yeah, because they have a like. This podcast went weird.
That's hilarious. That's awesome.
But
That's amazing.
a dog's penis has barbs that come out when it's.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then,
if you want to get into that's for the next podcast.
yeah,
right?
that's for another time. We'll bring a vet on to talk about that one because that's a fucking weird situation.
on the next show.
Yeah, dog dicks. So out there in Ontario, do you get out to do any kind of hunting or recreational activities like that?
I'm not a big hunter, to be honest. I would love to get into it. I think it's definitely a cool outlet, but I never have. My grandfather, like, we used to shoot guns with him.
Yeah.
But that's not okay these days, and yeah, I've just never gotten licenses and stuff like that, so I never got into it.
I had a fantastic year this year. I got 5 deer.
Nice, that's awesome.
So I hunt.
Brzezicki got a bear.
Yeah.
See that?
Big bastard of a bear too. It's huge.
Yeah, that'll last him a while.
He got a bear, he got a deer, and then his fiance got a deer as well.
Yeah.
Little Dion got out there with a fucking rifle and shot a deer. She's just tiny.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So
Yeah, Brzezicki had a big year. I'm happy for him. Hopefully we both have big 2022s.
the only thing I'm scared of is that the Canadian guys are going to lose the Canadian outlet. That's what I'm scared of.
As in, what do you mean?
I'm scared that the whole goddamn country is going to go tits up, and we're going to lose sports here. Period.
Well, I guess if that's the case, we just deal with it when we deal with it. I honestly don't. I don't want to make any predictions because I've made predictions and then it makes people mad. I've kind of called this thing not I wouldn't say called it word for word, but when this all started, I kind of what's happening now. I've said it was going to happen, and
Yeah.
it's just getting frustrating as an athlete. You're building momentum, and then it just gets momentum is a snowball effect. It gets bigger and bigger as you're going,
Yeah.
especially in the world of boxing. When you're on, people are watching, you're fighting. Um, there's no more than a couple months in between fights. You're active, and people want activity.
Yeah.
Sponsors want activity. Fans want activity. I want activity. You know what I mean? I want if I could fight twice a month, I would.
It'd be nice.
But that's not how it works.
Yeah.
As a fighter, if you ask any fighter, like there's no, why am I in the gym every day, twice a day? It's
Yeah.
for those moments when you get to walk in and fight in front of thousands of people. That's so the fact that it keeps getting taken away is super frustrating. I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm just kind of like past 2 years, just been staying positive and staying on my grind because for me, uh, I need to be in the gym, even if I didn't box. For my mental health and just for the type of person I am, I'm a very high energy
Yeah.
guy, so I need the gym. If I don't work out, there's problems. Or there will be problems.
Yeah, boredom sets in, right? And then your mind races, and then you're doing
Yeah,
dumb shit.
yeah. And then stupid shit starts happening. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's real quick. Let's touch on the sobriety end of things because there's a ton of people out there that are looking to do what you've already done. Not necessarily in a boxing ring, but just kick the shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, and it's been two years. December 31st, it was 2 years. No drinking, no drugs, um, and I couldn't be happier, man. I couldn't be happier. My family couldn't be happier. I completely changed my whole life around, and I'm actually excited. There was a period of time where I wasn't excited for the future.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to sit. Like I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to be excited for what's to come too.
What was the
So I,
last? What was the last straw for you? What really broke it for you that you needed to stop?
honestly, I was out west. I had a girlfriend out there. It was very toxic, very negative, and then I moved home, and it just got way worse. I just started hanging around um, just people that were bringing me down. You know what I mean? But I just it just got worse and worse, and then I started going job to job. Then obviously I wasn't living at home. I was living with my grandparents for a bit, and then I moved out, living with buddies, apartment to apartment, uh, just living a sketchy life. And then obviously the family starts catching on. Like, no, no, this is not just this is a serious.
Serious,
This
yeah,
is something. This isn't just Josh smoking weed anymore. This is
yeah,
starting to get this is different. This is other shit. And obviously I was into harder drugs than
yeah,
just smoking weed. And thank God for my family, but yeah, I just got to a point where like I couldn't hold a job. I wasn't, my word was nothing. I'd say, yeah, I'm going to come, they didn't want me holding the kids because who knows if I was high or drunk or like, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
then I actually had an intervention, dude. So what happened was I was on like a 2 week bender. I was driving around doing dumb shit, high. And then what happened was I called my mom and I was like, I need to come sleep. And so whatever. And I didn't realize they already had an interventionist there for 5 days paying, and I never came home. They were waiting for me to come home.
really,
So what happened was I came home and the plan was they were going to let me sleep and then wake up and have the intervention. So I woke up and I remember my mom was like, Josh, like, I need you to come downstairs. And I was like, I was an asshole, bro, and I was like hungover and shit, right? I was still
yeah,
high. Like I was still high I was up for 2 weeks.
yeah,
So and so she's like, come downstairs. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like I'm not, what's going on? Like leave me alone. I'm going back to bed kind of thing. And then she's like, no, no, like you need to come. So then I knew. I'm like, what am I walking down to? I walked down. My brother, my sister, my mom, and an interventionist. And it was like what you see on the TV shows, man. Like they all had letters. It was pretty, yeah, it was
wow,
life changing, man. And then obviously I went
yeah,
and I couldn't be happier. I did. It was definitely a very, very hectic time and crazy time in my life. But like looking back on it now, and I have like when I first got out of rehab, I didn't talk about it. I was like ashamed. I'm like, oh, like I actually got that low in my life that like I had to go to rehab. Like Josh Wagner, professional boxer, like I am in rehab. Like you know
Yeah.
what I mean? But you just kind of grab your pride and throw it to the side, and like I said, I wouldn't be here, who I am, 9-0, the last three fights, starting to take over, starting to actually put on, like you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so that's yeah, it was wild though, man. Like when all this is done and I'm world champ, I'm gonna be having a book
It's
for
just
sure,
it's a
man.
movie, man.
Yeah, for
It's a
sure.
real movie.
It really, yeah, it really is, bro. Like it's nuts. And if I didn't get the help when I did, like it was either jail or I was gonna be dead. Like it was seriously bad. It was really bad.
So like when you say like on the TV show, like they read the letters and the guy's like, "Hey, we're going now or we're not going."
Yeah, so like they read the letters and like okay, I got in a car and
Gone.
I drove to the rehab in Toronto and I stayed there for my time and then when I got out I had a plan. I moved out west right away and that's
Yeah.
when all the things happened with Milan and so then it was nuts because I got tested right away. Like I had all these plans. Like when I was in rehab, I made all these plans and Milan was like, when you get out, as long as your head is right, like I'll, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We'll get this thing going. You'll move back out here. And that was the plan. So as soon as I got out, I moved back out, and then within like 2 weeks of being out west, he fell, and all that happened, and
Yeah.
just how the story goes, man. And then just how it all works out, though. Everything happens for a reason, and I know I truly believe that. Like then I came back and I started training in Ontario, and I've had three fights, and like my whole career, like I'm going to be a champion. Like I can't explain it to people that don't understand, but like when I say it, like before when I used to say it, I didn't not necessarily didn't believe it, but like I truly believe from the bottom of my heart, and I have a team behind me now. I have everything going the way it should be. That there's no reason why I can't do it.
I think there's a few guys in Canada that can pull it off. Ryan Ruzicki's one of them. You're one
Yeah.
of them. And I do believe that Steve Claggett's still got something left in the tank where he can pull something off big.
Well, yeah, and there's a few names. There's a few names. Um, yeah, I think there's a couple guys that just we need to get that opportunity. You know
Yep.
what I mean? Whether it be in the States or the fights come here, it just I honestly think there's guys here that can do it. We need to get the opportunities.
Few quick rapid fire questions for you, and then I'll get you the fuck out of here. Who is the scariest boxer that resides in Canada right now?
Scariest boxer that is um like current active,
Yes.
Josh the Boss Wagner.
I knew that was coming. um, I'm claiming Arslan Bek Makhmudov as a Canadian because that's where he lives and who he fights for is a Canadian company. That gentleman is fucking terrifying.
Yeah, yeah, he is. That Mobility's pretty strong too.
Yeah.
He had a good outing in his last fight. But probably like you talking knockout wise, like,
No.
just a scary dude.
Yeah.
Rizicki, man.
Rizicki hands
Rizicki's a
down.
bad.
Yeah.
He's a badass.
Other than yourself, most skilled guy in Canada.
On a serious note, I definitely think I'm the most skilled, talented, gifted boxer. But besides me, there's a couple, man. Like there's guys like that are only 2-0, like Jake Dayu. I know
Yeah.
he's my brother, but like, man, these guys that they haven't been seen yet. They're the diamond in a rough that just haven't been. Once their time comes, like that, he is so naturally gifted. It needs to just come. It just needs to be showcased.
He's
You know
good
what
on
I
a
mean?
mic too, so give him interviews, guys.
Yeah, there's some talent, man. There's some talent. Josh Frazier, he's a talent.
Yeah.
He's a serious talent too.
Oh, he's a buddy of yours, right?
Yeah, he used to be an old training partner too. Like he's a good friend of mine.
So
Very good.
I sent him a message and I invited him on the show. He just sent me a thumbs up. That was it.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I was like, all right, dude, I'll wait for you to get a couple more in. Then we'll talk.
Yeah,
I laugh.
he's good. He's a good guy. He's great.
He seems like he's a character too, a little bit.
Oh yeah, yeah, and he can fight too.
Yeah, he can
We've
fight.
done
He's good.
done plenty of rounds.
Number one fight that you want this year?
For myself,
Yeah.
a Canadian or outside.
Who do you want this year? Who's the number one guy you want? You want to knock him off this year?
I would love to fight Cody Crowley.
Ooh, that'd be a banger, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Like nothing against Cody, great fighter. He's a pressure fighter. He's got a huge win in the States against a guy 18-0. But yeah, obviously I think he's rated number one in Canada for 147, so that's
Yeah.
the reason why I'm saying that. But yeah, honestly, any fight that is going to increase my rating, and like I said, fan favorite fights. I want titles. So whoever's got the title, or if it's vacant, I want the most exciting guy in there with me.
I'd love to see that Cody Crowley fight actually, because I really like Cody, and his last win was nothing short of spectacular.
Oh yeah, great pressure fighter.
Yeah. He getting knocked down and then coming back and putting it on a guy like that, it was amazing.
100%.
And obviously, I can't hype him up too much because you guys are going to be in the same weight class.
Oh yeah. There's a few guys. Like I said, if it makes sense, and we'll see what happens.
Get it on. Let's get you the fuck out of here so you can go get your workout in and you're not home too late. But first, your brother just texted me. He said make sure that Josh shouts out his people. So who you got? Sponsors? What the fuck's going on?
Yeah, thank you to you for having me on the show. Obviously, I want to thank all my family, my friends, all my supporters. My sponsorships: Owl Radiology, Orangeville Nissan, Fuse Logistics, Deja Vu, Sean Newell Contracting, All Pro Roofing. If there's anyone else I missed, I apologize. But without the sponsors and stuff like that, I wouldn't be able to pursue my dreams. So thank you so much, guys, and I can't wait to fight February 26th. Let's get it.
Shout out to all my sponsors, guys. USG Canada, Monkey Knuckle, Sovereign Extracts. On it. If you're not on it, get on it at onit.com/TFS podcast. TKO Beards, Omega Performance 1. If I'm missing, I'm sorry. Oh, Manscaped. And a huge shout out to a t-shirt company called True Classic for letting me try out their shirts. They're fantastic, guys. I love them. Josh, you got anything else you want to say today?
No, man. Awesome chatting with you, brother. Happy New Year, and we'll do it again here in sometime at the end of this year or whatever.
Yeah, well, next fight or even after the win, we'll do it again. But best of luck in the training camp coming up, because that's the hardest part of the fight is going to be the training camp. I know you'll get the win. Be 10-0. Let's go. Josh Wagner, guys. Make sure you follow him on Instagram. It's Josh the Boxer Man. Go to his Facebook. Give him a like. Give him a plug. Guys, get behind our Canadian fighters. If you're a fucking Canadian, go follow all of them. Guys, that's the final shot.